What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nemesis Gaming League. I am once again casting, and I have an absolute banger of a matchup for you as we are heading to the Rival League, where we are watching Blaze take on the Chimeras, and I am joined by the lovely, the amazing Speed. Speed, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just came off of my match, got another dub, so hoping some other things fall out our way. Just like Chimeras here are hoping things kind of fall out their way, where they are currently sitting in the last play-in spot. They do hold the tiebreaker over quite a few teams, but they're looking to definitely climb up. Give themselves that cushion. Lightspeed did just win, so they do have to win to be able to keep that tiebreaker. But drive the spot's in their driving seat, right? Or however you want to say it. Um, they just got to
They
come out and they got to do their thing.
they are controlling their own destiny. If they win today, they put themselves in a very good spot to secure the one of the last play-in spots. And I mean, you can make it. You can definitely make a run from the play-ins and be a very dangerous team to play at. Even having to play the 1 or the 2 seed, which is Whiteout or Arrival currently. I mean, Chimeras control their own fate, but unfortunately, they are up against Blaze, who has been on an absolute tear. They have been very, very good, especially with the addition of Ximidy. The trade from Sanzo and or the trade of Sanzo and Kizvy to Blaze seems to have worked out pretty well in their favor as they have kind of separated themselves. Vortex obviously in a very similar boat. They are also at 9-7, so neither team really coming out super ahead. But with how Blaze have been playing, I believe they've won their last 5 straight. I mean, they look very hard to beat.
Yeah, Blaze, definitely. I know we were a little worried when that trade first happened. I believe they lost their first game as a team since the trade. But since then, like you said, they've looked really good. And, Ximidy, Sanzo, Kizvy, we've known these guys for a while. And then they even got a little super sub in Jtron, if he's ever needed to play. And Jtron's, made his name in the league for quite some time. This is his first season on Rival, but we've seen him in a few games and he's looked pretty solid as well. So this all around, this Blaze roster is just really, really solid.
Yeah. Hopefully, we will be able to see the Blaze roster play very well. As we get game number 1 away, we see Dissa trying to control the ball, gets a beat on Kizvy, but Sanzo going to cut that one off in the midfield. Gilly getting a little bit of an open net, puts his shot on target. Dissa going to clean that one home and give the Chimeras a 1 goal lead.
And that right there, the man Dissa, you cannot count Dissa out. Dissa is probably, arguably, in my opinion, the star player here on this Chimeras roster. But he's got two great supporting players in Gilly and Beatree with him. I've played with Beatree back in Chally a little bit. He's just a great all-around supporting player. And, we see that here early on as he comes out with a big save on Ximidy's shot.
Yeah, this a very much that high ceiling caliber player, but also a little bit of a low floor. If he's not on his game, it could be very detrimental to the Chimeras. It looks like he is very much on his game so far, and with the addition of the high kind of floor players, like you said, of Beatree and Gilly, they should amount to a good Chimeras roster. But just as I say that, as I'm giving them their props, a goal comes out on the side of Blaze to even up the scoring.
Yeah, and that's just great play there by Sanzo, throwing that off the backboard, letting Kizvy come up, eat that one up. They had Chimera's defense a little awkward there as Gilly was kind of out in no man's field after he had committed for a challenge. So that's a little unfortunate for them. And I do want to say, Ventus, we casted together last match night on last Wednesday, and you had quite a few caster curses. And I wonder how much your tally is at, because we're going to add another one right there as you were just talking about Chimeras and they let him call.
I have no clue how many cast occurs. Somebody can go back and go through this Nemesis season and see just how many. Keep a running tally, especially going through the playoffs. I'm sure I'll cast more. But another goal coming out from the Blaze. Looks like Sanzo gonna actually steal that one from Ximidy to give Blaze a 2-1 lead, and a very dominant fashion so far after that 1 goal.
Yeah, I know Blaze let up the first one early to Chimeras, and then they're looking pretty solid since then. Sanzo out atop, having 1 goal, 1 assist. Good 100% participation early from him. We are still plenty of time left in this one. We got 3 minutes, but this Blaze roster, they are looking fast and they are looking smooth right now as they just had another solid attempt, but the counterattack's looking to come out. But a little miscommunication coming out from Chimeras on who's going to go for the ball and who's going to go for that bump there.
That definitely hurt them in the side of being able to maintain the offensive pressure. But we see a demo coming out from Dissa, but unfortunately Ximidy gonna pick this one up in the midfield, looking for an air dribble, trying to get it past Dissa, not gonna be able to do so. Sansa gonna have to pick this one up in the midfield, but not a great touch as Gilly was able to get back to it. Looks like Sansa taking this on the midfield, almost gets dunked by Dissa, but luckily gonna get that one away. Beachy, a good 50 back into the yellow half. Sanzo having to take his time. Not a great first touch. Does have the follow-up in Kizvy, though. And Kizvy gonna put a slaughter on and give Blaze a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and that's just great play there. Kizvy realizing that Sanzo doesn't have the greatest touch, even though he was coming down for that pinch, but there was 2 defenders in the way. They read the pinch, but they didn't read Kizvy coming in and slotting it over their heads as both the defenders pushed up a little far as a kickoff goal attempt trying to come through here. Gilly, can he put it on target? And yes, he can, and he is going to minimize that damage right there and keep this game within 1 goal.
Looks like Ximidy not really reading that bounce off the corner, expecting it to roll up the back wall, not experiencing any threat. Plays it a little bit too slow, and Gilly gonna take advantage of that, and like you said, limit the damage to just 1 goal. Close the gap a little bit, and start to kind of sway the momentum in the favor of Chimeras. But a big miss coming out from Beatrice might undo a lot of that, as Sanzo gonna have a touch into the midfield. Ximidy's there for the follow-up. Leaves it for Kizvy. Kizvy looking for a shot. Gonna be saved by Gilly. Sanzo with a follow-up shot. Dissa having to make a save. Gilly finally picking this one up. Gonna get this clear out. Trying to get to a teammate. Dissa gets a beat on 2. Sanzo's last man back. But Sanzo gonna get a good save and a clear. Gonna turn this into a counterattack. Fakes Dissa. Leaves it into the middle for Kizvy. And goal to goal Sanzo putting the team on his back, leaving a wide open net for Kizvy.
That's just a great play by Sanzo, and even better control there at the end to get the soft pinch and didn't send that flying across the net, as Kizvy didn't have a lot of boost and he was kind of hoping just for a softer touch, and he still barely just got to that. So, great heads up there by Sanzo to do a little bit of everything there and still remain such car control to be able to get that pass across.
Has been a name this game, as he has 1 goal and all 3 assists, earning that playmaker badge to Kizvy. 100% goal participation, and Blaze have seemingly picked up right where they left off after giving that 1 goal. Sanzo trying to get a clear out to Ximidy. Ximidy gonna backflip. Gilly putting a shot on net. Kizvy gonna have to save that one with 0 boost. Beatrice looking for a pass in the midfield. A double commit coming out on the side of Blaze, but Kizvy already there waiting for that touch. Dissa having to put this one off his own backboard, and luckily Gilly able to follow that one, but he does get another dunk. He almost wasn't able to follow that. A 50 coming out into the midfield. Blaze, very awkward situation for Ximidy and Sanzo. Ximidy gonna get a 50. Gilly leaving the ball into the midfield for Dissa, but Sanzo gonna get a beat out. And with 40 seconds remaining, a little bit of a midfield battle here between Blaze and Chimeras. Gilly trying to clear this one out. A good redirect from Dissa, but not going to do anything, as Sanzo's going to pick this ball up for free. Dissa, an early challenge, does take the ball back, gets a potential shot opportunity, but Kizvy going to clear this one away. Sanzo getting a demo on 1, looking for a pass or a shot on his own. Dissa getting a great save to clear that one away, but Ximidy putting that one right back in the midfield. Kizvy not going to be able to find that one on target. He's just going to elect to keep this in the Chimeras half, waste the time. Sanzo trying to get a touch to his own corner. Gilly gonna put this one off the back wall, and it looks like with time dwindling down, Blaze are gonna take game number 1.
Yeah, Blaze, great game there by Blaze. They let up that goal early, but they fought back. They took the lead, and then they just kind of ran with it from there. As we see Dissa and Gilly really trying their hardest here. 1 goal, 1 assist apiece. A lot of saves from the whole team, but that difference that I'm looking at here, Ventus, is the shot total. We're seeing 11 shots come out from Blaze, and we're only seeing 4 shots come out from the side of the Chimeras here. Now, obviously, Blaze scored just as many goals as Chimeras had shots, which you can't win many games if that's the case. However, I think that what the Chimeras really need to work on is they need to get this Blaze defense moving left to right. So they need to really incorporate some infield passes and not just going off the backboard. Kizvy, Zim, Sanzo, they all have really great backboard defense. They can read those plays a mile away, it seems. So I think they need to really work on some of those smaller infield passes instead and really get this team moving side to side.
Hopefully, we will be able to see some more of those potential plays coming out from the Chimeras as we head into game number 2. Looks like Ximidy gonna take this one, pop it to the back ball, but Gilly's already there. Unfortunately, Kizvy gonna catch this one a little bit in the midfield, beating 2 defenders, trying to get a dunk on the last man back. Gonna get some bumps as well as this one's gonna leak into the midfield. Ximidy not able to get a touch. Beatry's gonna be first to this ball, but he's gonna be demoed by Kizvy. But a shot coming out, Dissa going for bumps. Unfortunately, Sanzo gonna get a great save, and Chimeras, although they were able to create a lot of pressure, not able to do anything with it, as Dissa having to clear this one out, but taken away by Kizvy. This ball is gonna drop awkwardly in the back line. Beatry gonna have to get to this one. Does so. Gilly gets a good clear, but it's right to a Blaze player. Kizvy going up, gets a beat on Dissa as well. Ximidy's on the back wall, almost gets a redirect. Sanzo's up as well, looking for the shot, just off target. Dissa with another save. Kizvy catching this one, putting this back into the midfield, gets a bump on Gilly, but Gilly still able to get a touch. Dissa slowing the ball down, getting a pass to Beatry. Sanzo, not a great touch, leaving it in the midfield. Dissa gonna put this one on the backboard, but Ximidy already there, reading that touch beautifully as he's gonna stay with this ball, gets the full 100 boost, trying to get a pass in the midfield, but Dissa gonna clear this one away. Kizvy also getting a clear of his own, but he's gonna follow that one up with his shot, and he's gonna put that one in the back of the net.
That's one of the Chimeras you got to save. Kizvy doesn't have a lot of boost here. If you're Beatry, you got to challenge that earlier. I mean, I know he didn't have a lot of boost, but you got to put a hand up. You got to close down that angle to allow Kizvy. And Kizvy does just slot it by him. Great play by him, saving his flip at the end to really propel him with that no boost to be able to follow that ball up. But, again, Blaze starting off fairly early here in this game number 2, and Chimeras seem to not have a lot of answers. They still don't have a lot of offensive pressure, only 1 shot to their name in this game so far, and Blaze has just really owned that midfield as well.
Seem to not really be on the same page. It looks like Dissa playing a little bit differently than the way Beatry and Gilly are, with those two electing to play a little bit slower, play a little bit more possessive, and Dissa is playing a little bit too fast. He's kind of giving the ball away frequently, and he just hasn't done too much. He's facilitated some passes, but unfortunately Beatry and Gilly weren't there to be there for the shot, and so we've seen a little bit of a disconnect coming up from the Chimeras, and it's allowed Blaze to just a mass amount of pressure, and it looks like they might be doing so once again. As Gilly a good clear, but Dissa a team bump, Kizvy a bump of his own. Ximidy gets a 50 into the corner. Sanzo gets a demo, but gets beat. Beatry gets a beat on one. It's in the yellow half. Gets a beat on Ximidy. Sanzo awkward as last man. Gilly 0 boost though. Not able to follow that one, and it's going to be saved away. Kizvy a good 50, but it's right to Beatry. Beatry electing to catch this one, but not a great touch as Ximidy able to contest him and get a beat. Kizvy looking for a pass off the backboard. A double commit comes out once again from the side of Chimeras, and Blaze retain possession. Ximidy going for a little bit of an air dribble, but has 0 boost to his name. Sanzo gets a beat on one as well. Kizvy with a slot, top left corner. Another pass from Sanzo. Kizvy gonna put this one home to give a 2-0 lead.
And I thought this play, the way it started out, was Zim calling off Sanzo there with not a lot of boost, and Sanzo had almost 60% boost there. I definitely thought that was going to be wrong, but Zim made the best of it, got it off the backboard to Sanzo. Sanzo again able to get it off the backboard to a wide open Kizvy coming in as third man. And Kizvy's now going to look to get it past 2. He does. Sanzo's on his left. Sanzo's going to put this one onto an empty net, but no, that one's just going to go off the crossbar. And that is going to keep the Chimeras alive, as there's only 1:30 left in this game number 2.
It's a must-make goal from Sanzo. We had Kizvy beating out pretty much 2.5 defenders. The third defender pre-jumping the shot from, or the touch from Sanzo. And when something like that happens, and your member of your team is able to just create so much presence on the field, as Kizvy, a great pass once again. This time, it's going to be put away by Kizvy gets the pass, Ximidy gets the goal.
Yeah, and that's a great pass there by Kizvy, getting up high, making them come to him, and he just beats a diving Gilly with not a lot of boost. drops it right on Zim's head, and they're pretty much walking away with this game number 2 as a minute 6 left on the clock. Sanzo looking to make it 4-0. He gets the reset, does not make contact with the follow through, but Kizvy is back racing this one down as he's now going to beat 2 defenders. Zim's there, has to beat Beatree, and he can't, as 50 seconds remaining here as this one goes on again. Blaze just the offensive onslaughter here in game 2.
They really have not missed a beat. They are out shooting the Chimeras 12-1. Chimeras only able to get one shot on target, and that one was saved away by Sanzo. And with the inability to really create any defense, we're really looking forward to Dissa to create that space. He's kind of that very mechanical solo player, and he's been able to really keep the Blaze members at bay. But we've seen the Chimeras just a little bit being outpaced. The Blaze members really just kind of outpacing the speed of play, the mechanics. They seem to just be individually a lot better, and so the Chimeras either have to just switch up the game plan and play that very much team-oriented pass style, or they're going to be in trouble because Blaze in a one-on-one individually they seem to be outperforming the Chimeras.
100% outperforming it. Like you said, the biggest category there is just the shot category alone. 12 shots to 1 shot. And, yes, that 1 shot that Gilly got was a pretty good shot. It was a pretty good save made by Sanzo, but like you need way more than that. Um, Unfortunately, if you're the Chimeras, I don't even know what you have to do in this game number 3 to even give yourself life, to even have a chance to come back. Your playoff hopes are pretty much on the line here, knowing that Lightspeed won today. Um, so if you're Chimeras, you got to try something different, and you got to try it now, and you just got to stick to it. You got to try to find one thing that can work for you, and maybe it's going to be kickoffs as Dissa comes out here 2 seconds into this game, and he's going to put it away with a beautiful 50 there by Gilly off the kickoff.
See Kizvy trying to lose it back right to Ximidy, and Gilly just able to counter that one, read the kickoff from Blaze. And Dissa gonna hard cheat, which is something we haven't really seen from them. Is gonna be able to pick that ball up in the midfield and put in a free net. And early leads for Chimeras is all fine and dandy, but if they aren't able to withstand the Blaze onslaught or create any offensive pressure on their own, they're still gonna be in trouble. As Dissa having to keep possession in the corner, but Beatree, not a great touch in the midfield. It's going to go to Sanzo. Sanzo putting it off target. Kizvy getting a dunk on one. It's going to drop into the midfield. He's looking for a bump as well. Ximidy gets a pop. Also looking for a bump on Gilly. Sanzo already pre-jumped. Leaves the ball for Kizvy. Gilly having to take this one up, but Dissa going to pinch it away, and Blaze going to just retain possession. Even though Gilly had full boost, Ximidy looking for a double tap. This is 0 boost. He just has to jump and hope and pray that Ximidy doesn't hit this on target. But Ximidy gonna get a little free double tap there, and he's not gonna miss that one.
No, he's not. Just try to get back in net, thinking that Ximidy was going to get his first touch on target, and he sends it high, and it kind of waterfalls down, and he's there to just read that one. But yeah, Blaze again, onslaught here. They unfortunately let up that opening kickoff goal, but obviously they're looking really good sense as a shot comes up on Beatree, and again, their shots are just off the mark, and they really need to start finding them and putting them on target if they really want to have a chance to come back in this one.
A stuff there coming out by Dissa, and Chimeras showing signs of life as they have been able to beat Blaze to the ball multiple times in a row, force them onto the back foot, and their speedy playstyle hasn't really worked out too well as the Chimeras out shooting 4-1, which we have not seen at all this series. The Chimeras already reaching their shot total from game 1 and surpassing their shot total from game 2. And it's a little bit of a different Chimeras. Dissa has really shown out and played super aggressive, and Gilly gonna get an open net there as Dissa, once again, a great cut, making Sanzo awkward, not able to get that read, and Gilly gonna pick up that ball in the midfield with just a free net. Ximidy not fully back yet. And Chimeras, this is the biggest lead we have and the most dominant they look. They've been able to outspeed Blaze to the ball, but will it last, Speed?
I don't know if it'll last, but they're looking pretty good right now. Dissa, 100% goal participation. Um, they kind of have Blaze on the back foot. Blaze needs to not panic though, because there is still plenty of time left in this game. We've seen them score early and often and with ease throughout this series. So they just need to get back to trusting in what they can do and not trying to do too much, even though they're down by 2 goals.
It's a shot coming out by Sanzo. That one's going to be off target. Ximidy going to be there for the follow-up, though. And luckily for Sanzo, Ximidy was there, because that would have been disastrous if Sanzo was not able to get that one on target.
And again, great play, team play from the Blaze. And that's what I'm loving so much about this Blaze team is, yes, they all individually have the skill to just solo, but what they're doing is they're using their skill to beat 1 or 2 and then making the next defender miss and just allowing their next teammate up to score these easy goals. And it's beautiful. I love the solo plays, but I love the team plays even more.
I mean, a great save coming out by Kizvy as he was able to read that shot coming out from Gilly. It looks like it's going to be awkward on the back wall once again. Gilly, a great touch into the midfield. Going to get a beat on one. Trying to get a demo. Does so, but Ximidy going to pick this ball up in the midfield. Looking for a pass to Kizvy. Kizvy looking for a double tap. Doesn't have the boost to follow that one up. And Gilly, a great read. Keeping that away from Sanzo. But Sanzo trying to get a pass in the midfield. Not going to get the second touch. And Ximidy was there waiting for the pass. Sanzo just not able to get that one. But Ximidy already cutting. Getting more pressure on the ball. And Kizvy, once again, another great cut. Able to get a good pre-flip air dribble. 50 against his own post coming out. And Sanzo gonna steal that one. Maybe it was in, but a crazy solo play coming out from Kizvy.
Yeah, Kizvy doing a little bit of everything there, as that ball looks like it was coming out with the potential to be saved as well. So you can't blame Sanzo there for going in and making sure that one gets put away. But, you know, they battled back. Sanzo looking to take the lead. No, he cannot get the bike to fade. Zim unable to sneak that one in as a counterattack from Dissa, but that one's going to be out of his reach. He's going to try to put this one middle, but that one's going to be sent away by Kizvy. Kizvy's going to send this one downfield. Sanzo up, but is going to get beat out by Gilly. Dissa gets another touch. He's looking for one more. He gets the reset. What's he going to do with it? He just elects to take it below him and then go over Kizvy. And this is the solo menace that Dissa can be. And oh my God, Ventus.
Dissa, you're gross. That's all I can say about that. I mean, a great flip reset, getting the fake, going for the musty, a great shot on net, completely catching all of the Blaze members off guard, and Dissa, I mean, I'm stunned for words. There's such an amazing play coming out, and a much-needed one to give the Chimeras signs of life once again, as Dissa has been the bread and butter, that high-ceiling player showing what he can really do, and he's showing out with a hat trick and 600 points already. He has really stepped up in this much needed game, but is it going to be enough? Blaze on the offense once again. Ximidy gonna get a stuff on Beatree as that last man back and tie up the scoring, and all was for naught. Even with that amazing goal from Dissa, it's already clawed back by Blaze.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see another amazing solo play coming out here from Dissa. I think if we're gonna want to see this Chimeras team, because they've had great opportunities, they've had the lead a few times in this series. I mean, in this game, but they just keep letting this Blaze roster climb their way back in with these 50 goals, slow goals. They're just getting outbodied, and you know, Dissa has to put masterpiece in to just be able to try to score for them. So as we head into the final minute here, Ventus, Kizvy gets this one middle, but no, that one's going to be sent away by Dissa, and Sanzo is not able to keep that one in play for the Blaze roster here.
We have a tie game with just under 40 seconds remaining. Sanzo gonna clear this one off. Not gonna be able to follow his touch up, but is gonna get a bump on Dissa. Maybe the more important play there. Sanzo trying to look for a redirect, gonna be saved away by Beatree. A double commit coming out. Ximidy trying to get a pass mid, is 50 with Beatree as well to get a clear. And this ball gonna go back into the Blaze half. Kizvy gonna pick this one up, looking for a musty of his own. Not gonna be as powerful as Dissa's was, but this ball's gonna pass out into the midfield. Ximidy looking for a fake, also wants to go for a musty on its own. Sanzo leaving this ball in the midfield. Beatree gonna be first in that one. Kizvy not really having a chance to shoot that, as it's gonna go back into the midfield. Sanzo gonna get a cut, pick this ball up. 0 seconds remaining. Beatree electing to put this one down, and we are going to overtime here. I very back and forth. Blaze once again showing their offense, but Chimeras holding on. Gilly getting it, try to touch mid, but Ximidy gonna get a bump on that attacker on the back wall and Dissa and get a clear. Kizvy gonna 50 this one, but Dissa's already up for this ball, looking for a shot on net. It's not gonna be on. Sanzo getting the read off the backboard, able to clear this one away, able to get a beat on 2, looking for a beat on 3, but Gilly gonna clear it away as well. Kizvy looking for a reset, gets a beat on B-Tree, but Dissa gonna pick it up in the midfield. Not a great touch coming out from Ximidy. He's gonna have to clear this ball away, but Gilly, a little too overzealous, pushes up a little bit, allowing Ximidy to keep that pressure and take it all the way into the Chimeras half. Kizvy looking for a shot, goes for the flip reset, not gonna do so. Sanzo getting a fake on 2, a triple commit coming out now from Chimeras. Gilly, 0 boost, just having to clear this one away. Sanzo gonna just pick up the free ball on the sidewall, but Dissa coming, pre-jumping off the ceiling, not allowing any space for Blaze. A double commit comes out. Dissa just has to put this one on target, and Dissa gonna find the back of the net to win in overtime, an absolute stunner.
And that's just really unfortunate there for the Blaze roster. They really wanted that goal there on the offensive pressure they had for the last 30 seconds of that overtime. However, it ended up biting them there as they double commit, and there's just a man downfield able to get that redirect on target and, force a game 4 here. Chimeras obviously on the back of Dissa, 893 points, 4 goals, 1 assist, doing it all, 100% goal participation for them. But what also really helped them there was B-Tree stepping it up on the back line, picking up 6 saves, the double savior medal there coming out from B-Tree, and it has now given them life and still keeping their playoff or their play-in hopes alive, hoping to grind out a game 4 and force a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, if Dissa keeps playing the way he just showed us in Game 3, keeping Blaze from completing the sweep, I mean, the sky's the limit for the Chimeras. They're able to go toe to toe with the Blaze roster, who I think is one of the best in the rival league. Even though the record is 9-7, the trade and the roster is newer. They are pretty much 6-1, I believe, with this iteration. Well, not specifically this iteration, but once the trade of Sanzo and Kizvy happened, they are 6-1. And I mean, they are showing out why, but Chimera's able to steal a game off of Blaze and look to get something going with B-Tree. Getting a beat on 1. It's going to go to the back wall. He's looking for a bump on Sanzo, but Sanzo going to dodge that one. Ximidy picking the ball up in the midfield, getting the double tap, looking for another one, but not able to get that one as Dissa able to put it around him. Not a great touch coming out from Kizvy. Allows B-Tree to just get a long booming clear. Sanzo gets a beat on Dissa, but B-Tree able to be there for a shot. It's going to be saved away. Ximidy getting this one on the back wall. It's going to be 50 onto the back line once again. Kizvy having to elect for another 50. This ball going to leak out into the midfield, but B-Tree electing to play a little safe. Sanzo throws away that possession, but he gets a pass anyways. Dissa trying to clear that one, but Kizvy already there. Finally, Gilly able to get it clear. Sanzo able to keep pressure as it looks like Ximidy gonna clear this one. Back to Kizvy. Back to Sanzo. Sanzo off the backboard for Ximidy. Ximidy off the backboard for Sanzo. Sanzo trying to get a shot on, but maybe a little bit one too many passes, not allowing them to actually get a shot on target. But once again, we see Blaze bringing that pressure out. They're out shooting Chimeras 4-1. And this seems, even though Chimeras have held on with some great defense, it seems very reminiscent of the first 2 games.
Really does, but Dissa sends this one back into his offense, and Zam doesn't get the greatest touch, but that one's gonna go down to Sanzo, and now Sanzo trying to beat B-Tree here on the sidewall. He puts this one on. Zim's there. No, that one's gonna go just wide. I think Zim might have thought that was on. He could have pre-flipped into that touch, but he elects to let it go as he thinks that one's gonna go in, I think. And here we are, Blaze and Chimeras, game number 4, still at 0-0 as we're approaching that halfway point here, Ventus.
Sidewall attempt coming out from Dissa. Chimeras have really impressed me with how well they've been able to hold on, especially cleaning up their defense a lot, not allowing Blaze to get any multiple length of pressure. But it looks like a shot going to be coming out, saved away by Kizvy. Gilly looking for a little bit of a touch around Sanzo, but not going to be able to do so. Sanzo going to air dribble this one out. A 50 coming out by Ximidy allows a shot from Kizvy, not going to be saved though, as B-Tree going to have to make another save. Ximidy looking for a shot. It's kind of an open net as Gilly wasn't back yet, and Ximidy gonna find the back of the net, post in to give Blaze the lead.
Yeah, and this is what we expect right there. Zim, no boost, but he's able to just get up to that ball and beat Gilly there, who had a little bit of boost, but he had to come off of that sidewall and gonna give them the lead. And now Blaze just has to hold on to this lead, and they're going to secure themselves this series and really put themselves in a better spot and secure them, hopefully a playoff position as they currently holding in one, but they're in that cluster of a bunch of teams tied at that 9-7 mark here. So this is also a huge win for them, and they really need to fight through this one and hold on.
Yeah. With the way they've been playing, they cannot afford to allow Chimeras to take the series off of them. A good flick, but an even better save coming up by Beatree. Beatree, once again, with an amazing save. Dissa getting this one, clearing this one out. Gets a fake on Ximidy, but Ximidy's still going to get a touch. Gilly trying to get a touch, not going to be able to do so. Leaves it for Beatree because he's looking for a shot. Dissa with 0 boost. This one going to find the back of the net. No members of the Chimeras had any boost there, and Blaze going to capitalize.
Yeah, and I think that one right there, I know it's only 2 goals, but the way that they have had this game going, I think this one might be heading in the favor of Blaze. There's still plenty of time left, but we're just seeing Blaze, they're going with the solo plays and they're just beating the whole Chimeras roster left and right. They're managing their boost better. They are just overall better positioning as a double tap attempt comes out from Dissa. He doesn't quite read it, and this one's going to be sent away by Kizvy. He has plenty of boost to get around the ball, and that is going to be the 3rd goal here for Blaze, and I think that one right there is the dagger.
Crazy things happen in Forbidden Temple. A good catch there coming out by Kizvy. An overcommit coming out from Chimeras. And it's very understandable in their position. They need to go all out. They need to start closing that gap. With only a minute left, they were down 2 goals. So they still had to score. It looks like Beatree trying to get a shot. Does find one. And this is still a 2-goal game now with 1 minute remaining. However, Blaze looked very solid. And it's going to be very difficult for the Chimeras to make or mount a comeback. Crazy things do happen in Forbidden Temple. I say this time and time again whenever I cast in-game 4s or series that go to a game 4. Anything can happen. Ximidy trying to get a clear out. Sanzo looking for a shot as well. Beatree gonna save that one away. Beatree with 5 saves now. Dissa clearing this one, but it's gonna go right to Sanzo. Beatree having to try to make another save. It's not on target. Gilly gonna clear this one. Sanzo back into the corner though. Pops it in the midfield, looking for a bump. Beatree with another save, his 2nd savior medal, holding the Chimeras in it. But once again, we face a bunch of Blaze pressure. Gilly popping this one onto the sidewall, gonna get a 2nd touch. Leaving this one now for Beatree. Beatree putting a shot on net. Sanzo gonna have to save that one. Gilly putting that one off the backboard. Dissa shoots, but it's going to be saved away by Ximidy. No follow-up's going to be coming from Beatree as he's electing to play a little safe. And with 10 seconds remaining, 2-goal lead. Dissa putting this one onto the backboard. Trying to get a shot on target. Ximidy putting this one just above the crossbar. It's going to go Gilly. Not going to be able to keep that pressure as Kizvy's going to clear that one away. And that is the dagger. Blaze take it in game number 4. A dominant showing by Blaze for the most part. Dissa, a crazy pop-off game for the Chimeras, keeping them in it. And, I mean, overall, just a great series.
Yeah, and after the first 2 games, Chimeras really shown a lot of life. We see here that Beatree stepping up huge. We saw him have a double savior medal here in game 4. He had a double savior medal there in game 3, which they ended up winning. We didn't quite see the pop off potential that Dissa had, but he can't be doing that every time. He needs some help on the offensive end. And I think this, Chimeras team, if they can find a way to get a little more offensive pressure, their defense is there. Yes, they look sloppy at times, but then they really stepped it up. If they can consistently get that defensive pressure, they can find a little more offensive firepower to go with Dissa. They can have a great team. However, they just got to find a way now to get into the playoffs. They're hoping for a Lightspeed loss next week. I'm in on Wednesday. They're hoping for a win on Wednesday, and they can find themselves back into the position of securing that last play-in spot. They just got to figure it out, and you got one match to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chimeras are missing Kobe. Who would know what the Chimeras would look like differently there, replacing Gilly for Kobe. Gilly seemingly a little bit underwhelming as a whole. He wasn't necessarily really dominant on defense or dominant on offense. He was kind of trying to be that midfield presence that didn't really work out too well for the Chimeras, and unfortunately, that might cost them a potential postseason and the final playing spot. But unfortunately, that is the last match that we have tonight. Um, we are going to be back on Wednesday. A great series all around. We're going to have some crazy final game of the regular season, securing different play and playoff spots. It's going to be very crazy. Speed, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, the only thing I want to add is I just want to thank the Nemesis premium subscribers. We got Flame, Wiggle, Cortera, Fenner, Neon, Street Soul, Critter, myself, Speed, Jax, iParker, and Rare.
Yeah, so big thanks to all of the Nemesis premium subscribers. I mean, the help goes a long way supporting the the stream, the prize pool, and everything we do behind the scenes. So it is very much appreciated. But with that, we are going to call it a night there. Some great games. I'm super excited to see which games are going to be on stream Wednesday. There are going to be some crazy seeding and playoff implications. You guys are not going to want to miss it. But until next time, we will see you later.